For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of the Wednesday practice of Western Michigan week. It was a typical Wednesday practice, shoulder pads only, and we're starting to see guys kind of come back. Vianney Talamaiva had a good practice today, and Daniel Imatorbhebhe, 95% Helton said where he's at, and he had one of the best catches of the day so far.
Yeah, diving catch in traffic where he had full extension. We haven't seen that at all. Yeah. So it was one of those moments where you said, whoa, maybe, because I wasn't big on the fact that, I thought it was kind of a flip a coin after yesterday's practice about this weekend. But after today, I mean, he's way different in a different place today than he was yesterday. So it might be one of those things that it just happens, or mentally you just say, I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna be as explosive as I can be and see how it goes. And I thought it went really well.
Mm-hmm. After Helton said yesterday was one of the best practices they had so far, you and I were talking about this. It's kind of hard to evaluate practices because today's practice wasn't as good as yesterday's, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was a bad practice.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do different things. They're not in full pads, so there's some things that really aren't going to show up, like the run game. I mean, it just doesn't almost count the same way if you're not having live blocking and that kind of thing. So you kind of lose, although we saw a couple of really good runs by Rojo anyway, but you kind of lose the sense of where you are, in terms of the run game. The pass blocking, again, it's not quite live, so you don't get an exact feel. And they did an awful lot of third down stuff where you couldn't really tell what exactly they're trying to do, and they're down at the other end. And again, we don't know, we don't have the practice, game plan in front of us, so we're not 100% sure of what it is they're trying to do. I thought that when they finished up 11 on 11, they went to first offense against second defense and vice versa. Thought Sam looked awfully good, throwing the ball deep, throwing the ball everywhere. He's a gamer, and I think when they get themselves at the end of practice and they go game speed, game everything, Sam steps up and Sam looks like Sam.
Mm-hmm. Now, for your favorite topic, the place kicker situation is getting a little interesting. Helton said that he's going to review the film from today's practice and then name a kicker tomorrow. But it's interesting because they didn't have a great day today, if you will.
No, I mean, unfortunately, today they started out with extra points. Yeah. And when you see one of them, one of the extra points end up maybe 25 yards from the upright, you think, wow, that's probably not going to be acceptable. And then it was one of those days where during the water break, there was no water break for the place kickers. They were down kicking with Clay Helton, who said, I purposely want them to be under pressure with the head coach breathing down their necks. And I thought Michael Brown did really well. Chase McGrath did well. He had one hook, but I thought Michael Brown had the day today. The other thing they were doing is they were coming with when they were going team, they were coming with the full block. Yeah. And they blocked, we think, for sure 2 in a row, and maybe got a hand on the third one. So that didn't help things with the kickers. But you would have to guess it's probably Michael Brown going to get the good news tonight, if that is the good news.
Mm-hmm. I know on Twitter there's kind of, and on the message boards, there's kind of a scared reaction about the whole place kicker situation. Should fans be worried?
I tell them, it's football, don't worry about it, and you go in there and you go 4 down, let's say. You make it red zone, 4 down zone, and we're going to score a touchdown. And then you don't worry about, kicking a field goal. Or if you're in that, 35-yard area, you pooch punt it. But don't make it, hard on yourself until you see how this develops. I mean, Matt Boermeister at the beginning of last year, he was not somebody you felt like you could really count on. No, I wouldn't worry about it. I just, say, well, they'll do something else then. They'll go for it on 4th down, and maybe Sam will make a play, and they'll get 7 instead of 3. So, there's the other side of that coin, and it might be better for you.
Mm-hmm. Wednesdays are defensive days, so we got to talk to Clancy Pendergrass, defensive coordinator, and Helton about who's going to get a red shirt. We kind of got a clearer picture of maybe who might not redshirt, who may.
Yeah, I don't think they won't talk about who's going to get a red shirt, but they will tell you who's going to play. And one of those guys got a pick six today, his first interception as a freshman at USC. We got both Clancy and Clay to talk about Greg Johnson. And somebody asked me yesterday, what do you think about Greg Johnson? I said, every time I see him, he's a player. He looks like, he's 195 pounds. He's tough. He can play offense and defense and special teams. Well, Clay today said he's going to play. Yeah. We're going to play him. And Clancy said, I really like him as a gym rat. He studies. He works hard. He just keeps getting better and better. And Greg is a very smart kid, because I asked him about it. I said, what happened on that play? And he said, well, first of all, Coach Pendergast called a really good call. And so I told Clancy that, and Clancy said, that's what I tell him. Make my call look good. So there's something going there. I think we got a sense that, and I would agree that Greg Johnson's got a real future, and it's going to be this year as a freshman. He'll be on the field.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's practice, Thursday, is a closed practice, so the next time we'll actually see the team is on game day on Saturday. I know it seems to be a little anxious nerves here. Chris Hawkins says that he hasn't really slept this whole week. He's ready. I think the whole team seems to be ready just to get out there and play.
Yeah, although if you show up, I guess, at the jock rally on Friday, you can see them, and that'll probably be good for them to, work off some of their emotions, and maybe it's a good thing they don't have to wait for a night game. They'll be up fairly early Saturday morning and starting to get ready, for a 2:15 kickoff. It's going to be hot, but no hotter than it has been here for the last two practices. But yeah, I think this is a week you just got to get through. You just got to figure out how you get through it, and that's part of being a football player and being a good football team, is you figure out how to do that, and then and you got I think it's just a great opening game opponent. It's somebody, one of three teams that won 13 games last year. The other two, Alabama and Clemson. Somebody that's beat two Big Ten teams last year. Lost close in the Cotton Bowl to the third one, Wisconsin. So this is somebody that will not come out and be like an Idaho or somebody who or an Arkansas State who it was like, wow, what are we doing here? I think Western Michigan has been there, kind of done that. They've got coaches from a new coaching staff after the last one moved on to Minnesota, but they've got guys from Syracuse and Indiana and Purdue, and guys who've been there and are very well respected, and they bring back 8 starters on defense, and they held people to less than 20 points a game. So I think it's a really good opener for USC. It's not somebody like you're playing Rice and it looks like a high school team. These guys can play, and USC going to have to come out and play hard, play tough, play smart, and get themselves ready for what's going to happen the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Wednesday practice of Western Michigan Week. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.